Over the last 5 months, I've generated over £23,200 from one of my clients for Peak Health Systems Consulting Services. This is my client, Samuel. As you guys can see here, this is a screenshot from my Stripe. I'd love to show you guys my Stripe in real time, but that would mean that I'm sharing private information pertaining towards client bank details, billing addresses, emails, etc. So I can't do so. But as you guys can see here, the first payment was made on the 11th of February this year. Second payment made on the 11th of May, and most recent payment made on the 11th of June, which equates to a total of £23,200 from one client alone, this client being Samuel. You guys can see his social media profile here. Really good client of mine, now a very good friend also, really awesome guy. And I'm going to talk through how, first and foremost, I came to enroll Samuel as a client of mine, how I actually acquired him as a customer, and the work I facilitate in terms of delivery with him to give you guys an insight into how I charge $15K for my initial 12-week service for my one-to-one consulting clients as a Peak Health Systems consultant, and then also charge a monthly retainer of $5K per month for my clients moving forward as well. The amount I charge on a monthly basis varies depending on how much work I have to do per client and what the expectations are, deliverables, etc. But typically it's $5K per month for clients who I work with beyond the initial 12 weeks. So let's dive into it. So first and foremost, how did I acquire Samuel as a client? I wasn't aware of Samuel's existence, had never built a personal relationship with him, nothing like this whatsoever. He came as a referral directly from a very good client of mine and a friend of mine now, Bastian Slot, who I've worked with since 2019. So Bass actually applied to work with me when he was operating as an appointment setter back in 2019, and he couldn't afford doing so at the time. He then applied for a call again later that year, came on board as a client because he's making about 10 to 15K per month as an appointment setter, and then since then we've been working on and off for the last 4 or 5 years. I've worked with all of his team members. I worked with his clients as well. His mastermind clients I've consulted with personally also. I've worked with his parents, his dad. So yeah, I've done everything with him essentially, which has been very cool. It's been very cool to see his growth. And obviously he's now scaled 2 education businesses to multi-7 figures. And I believe he's now focusing on a software business. He's doing very well with it. So yeah, he came as a referral from Bass, and you guys can see that I then, as a byproduct of receiving the referral from Bass, I then sent Bass 10% of the initial fee. Again, I charged $15K for the first 12 weeks of my service. And therefore I sent Bass a payment of £1,500. As you guys can see, that was sent on February the 12th, a day after I received the first payment from Samuel. So yeah, for every client that refers me another client, I always send them 10% of the fee. And typically that is 1.5K for the initial 12-week service, just to make sure that's very clear. As a byproduct of that, obviously I've now been working with Samuel since February, and we've established some very clear goals and outcomes. And I thought I'd take you guys through the process of how we manage this, facilitate delivery to ensure that all clients are very happy with the service I provide. And as a result of that, leave extremely positive feedback. If I take a second now to open up my WhatsApp, I'm just going to pull up a message that I received from Samuel yesterday, because we're now concluding our first phase of work together. We may pick it up again at the end of the summer, but for now he's traveling, doing his own thing, taking care of his own health with the protocols and systems that I've implemented. But he left me some very, very positive feedback via voice message. So I thought I'd play this out to you guys as well, so you can see that all my clients are very happy with the work that I facilitate, and therefore my price of service is justified. Here you guys go.
That sounds perfect. Yeah, sorry that I replied so fucking slow. It was so hectic the last few weeks. But yeah, perfect. I will record that video as well then probably when I'm home. So yeah, I also wanted to say thank you very much for the whole service. It has been the best coaching I've ever had in my life. And I've even learned some things about how to give coaching myself, since I've been doing coaching for 2 years now. But like high ticket coaching, the way you have to treat your clients, I've learned a lot from the way you do it. It's absolutely insane. And I recommend it to anyone who at least has the money to pay it. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so as you can see there, he's very happy with the service I provided. And of course, therefore justifies the price that I charge, which was about £23,000, £22,200 in total. So in terms of the process that I leverage to facilitate client delivery, I thought I'd talk you guys through that now as well. And if I go back to the links, I'll just go back to the start of our work together initially. So yeah, once I receive payment from the client that I'm working with, I then of course ensure that I then set them up with their onboarding processes. You guys can see that was the payment just received there of 15K. Once that was done, I then send through the onboarding information for the clients to ensure that they're actually set for our onboarding call and they're ready to rock and roll. So you guys can see that here as well. I send through the onboarding call link, and of course that's organized via Calendly. Clients typically pay via a Stripe payment link as opposed to via an invoice. Makes it nice and easy for them. They can even use Apple Pay if necessary and if accessible. And therefore, I also then send through a link to their onboarding form. Now, this form will require about 20 to 30 minutes. Oh, it looks like Typeform's not loading properly. It requires about 20 to 30 minutes of the client's time to complete it. It's very extensive and ensures I have all the information I possibly need from a client to maximize delivery with them. And I'll show you guys what that looks like now because Typeform's clearly not loading, but I can show you guys the outcome of this as well. So they prepare this in advance of the call taking place. And once that's done, I then actually upload all the findings from their intake forms as a PDF, as we can see here in Asana. And I use Asana for my client service delivery work to document each step of the process, etc. So as we can see, it's extremely detailed, extremely lengthy, and gives me a huge amount of context as it pertains to what I need to help the individual facilitate and achieve his outcomes and the variables they've had difficulty with previously. I won't reveal any more information there because it's very much private and individual to him. But the payment's processed. I then, of course, ensure the client books in their onboarding call. And this is the framework for our onboarding process. We review their onboarding form intake inputs, like I just showcased, confirm the individual's goals to the process, both short and long term, to ensure that I have crystal clear clarity as it pertains to what I'm helping the client achieve. I then give them access to my school program as well, because I have a course in there which is about 20 hours long, and they can watch that if they want to do so. If not, it's not a major variable of delivery for my service. It's more so a free resource that I provide all one-to-one clients with because I spent a lot of time on it. I give them access to Asana. We open up to any questions they have next, and of course then confirm next steps, which typically results in them booking in their one-to-one recurring call, and therefore we establish a weekly recurring call time. In terms of deliverables, I thought I'd make this extremely clear to you guys watching this video because I believe most of you watching it will be individuals starting out from scratch. With all clients that I work with, I conduct a one-to-one call on a weekly basis, and typically that lasts anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. However, that's not necessary. If an individual is adhering to the process extremely well, and we've gone back and forth via WhatsApp with Loom recordings on a daily basis to convey all information needed between both parties, I oftentimes jump on a call for only 10 to 15 minutes with a client because there's no need for me to sit there and converse with them about stuff that isn't appropriate or necessary at that moment in time. We keep the variables of priority simple and straightforward to ensure there's no overwhelm, and therefore if a call is not needed, a call is not needed. And again, the clients that I'm working with, they're not paying me for my time, they're paying me for the outcome. Hence why individuals like Samuel are extremely happy with my service because I'm not making them attend things unnecessarily. It'd be totally pointless. Their outcome is the key variable of priority for them. So yeah, we jump on a call on a weekly basis, and I also converse with all clients on a daily basis via WhatsApp and via Loom recordings. As you guys can see here, there's a lot of messages being exchanged between myself and Samuel here. Of course, this being the onboarding process here, so videos of gym setup, etc. And therefore I get everything set up for him as well. Furthering that as well, on top of one-to-one communication on a daily basis via WhatsApp and also Loom recordings, also, of course, in the one-to-one calls on a weekly basis, I also ensure that the client completes a check-in for me on a weekly basis every single Sunday. So you guys can see what that looks like here. Let me show you the message I send. So I send through a brief check-in message on the Monday morning, or they complete it on a Sunday. It's based on their personal preference as to when I send this message. Some clients prefer the weekend off. Others want me to send it on a Sunday. That's fine. I send them this link, which is their check-in form, and it takes them approximately, that's the wrong link. This is the correct link. It takes them approximately 3 minutes to complete their check-in form. It's really quick and succinct and extremely straightforward. And that provides me some key inputs as it pertains to their progress and what variables I need to help that individual with this week. And therefore maximize delivery of my service and ensure the outcome is guaranteed for the client I'm working with. So yeah, that gives you guys some insight as to my delivery processes. I'll dive into this in immense detail in terms of how I came about developing my service delivery mechanisms and my thought process behind this. But you guys can see everything's built out in Asana. So testing some products. So of course, I proceed with blood testing for all clients I work with, their DEXA scan, their Oura Ring purchases. I cover the cost of everything in the cost of service, and that typically requires me to pay about $1,000 for these products for the clients I work with, and I organize it all on their behalf. You guys can see here supplementation documents, meal plan documents as well, blood and gut health test results analysis, DEXA scan results analysis as well, physique check and photos, weigh-ins, action items on a weekly basis, etc. Everything's documented here to ensure that our process for delivery and fulfillment is extremely straightforward for both myself and the recipient of the service. Hence, there again, as you can see from Samuel's voice message, hence his perspective on the service being a very high-level service. He's very happy about it. I'll dive into in more detail the variables of delivery and how I facilitate this and how I came about this process. But For context, I've now been operating in this space since 2017. And therefore, of course, I have a lot of experience working with clients in the one-to-one capacity and ensuring that I deliver the best product possible, because I still deliver my one-to-one service personally as opposed to outsourcing that to a fulfillment coach, because I wouldn't want to do so. And also, if I then look into an individual that inspired me to create the systems that I have developed, it was actually this individual who runs an agency called Design Joy. I'm not too sure what that video is referring to, but yeah, he does about 1.3 million a year from operating a graphic design agency as a one-man band. He is the agency owner, he is a designer, he does everything. And he actually develops systems similar to this in Trello for his clients, which negates the need for such excessive one-to-one communication, because he works in a very different manner. So I'd encourage all of you guys, even if you are fitness and health consultants or coaches, to actually take inspiration from this video, from start to story, and then obsessively nerd out on what he leverages as a system. I believe his name is Brett. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, I watched this about 2 years ago, took huge inspiration for the systems, mechanisms he was leveraging to ensure that service delivery was extremely streamlined and a very simple process. And I then combined that with my experience working as a coach since 2017 in a one-to-one capacity. So yeah, if you guys got any questions at all, do not hesitate to let me know. Drop them in the comment section down below this video. If, of course, you want to work with me in a one-to-one capacity to help you build your health and fitness coaching business online, you can click the link in the description. It takes you through to school. I charge the least amount I possibly can do to work with clients in a one-to-one capacity for that service, because I appreciate that if you're starting out or are growing, money may be tight, and I wish I had access to a resource which was more affordable to me. When I first started out, I invested about 10 grand in my first product, and I charge an absolute fraction of that for the guys that I work with. So yeah, if you guys are interested in working with me, you can also drop me a message, of course, or you can simply click through